Hello, everyone. Oh, that's very high. Whoops, let's turn that down a little bit. How's it going? Can everyone hear me all right? How's it going, John? Puzzle-headed? Give me a second to adjust this. Just let me know if the audio is coming through. Hello, Christian. Hello, Win, Mike, Tevin. There we go. Heard. Nice. How's everyone doing? Sounds good. Thank you, Arch Crusader, and welcome. So how's everyone feeling right now? Post DLC. Been waiting for crunchy theories on DLC. Yeah. Hmm. Savin says, I'm guessing by the title that the DLC had a similar impact on you like it did on Rat. Uh, I don't know if that's exactly true. Basically, I had a really busy summer so far. I was working the whole time. Um, it took me like 3 weeks to get through the DLC the first time, just because I had so little free time. Um, I still haven't finished my second playthrough, so it's been, I've just been behind everything. Um, my plan today was okay. I guess I should give a little bit of the background. Um, I am feeling a little bit just sort of I don't know, what would you call it, ennui, uh, post DLC clarity, uh, whatever you want to call it. Um, I will get around to making some lore videos, but still not really sure. I don't have anything. I don't have anything that interesting to say at this point. There was I really enjoyed the DLC. I have to say, I really enjoyed it. I liked both in terms of just the game aspect and also in terms of the lore. I don't really vibe with um, all the sort of disappointment. I think maybe people work themselves up into expecting something different. Um, I really enjoyed it, but I just don't really have that much to say at this point, I guess. Um, I feel like my some of my previous theories were kind of indicated towards. Some of them were definitely wrong. Um, so I think it gave context to all the important stuff that lacked context in the base game, so I don't really feel like I need to pursue anything further. Yeah, I mean, in a way, I think that's true. Yeah, it does feel like, it wrapped things up, and so there's this feeling of like, oh well, that's done now, which makes it kind of hard to feel motivated to, really dive deep into the lore. When there's like this looming thing on the horizon of the DLC, like, oh man, the answers are coming, then it's really exciting to get into the lore because it's like, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. But now that it's there, it's kind of okay. Well, we got the DLC, and I enjoyed it, but that is what it is. Um, wow, Crunchy hasn't already solved everything. Bro fell off. Yeah, I mean, I think there's we could talk a little bit, but my plan today was I'm just gonna play some Halo because I don't know, I just feel in the mood for some classic games. So It's been a while since I've done a full campaign through, so I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna go through the entire campaign of 1, 2, 3, ODST, maybe Reach. Probably not all right now, but no, let's turn this off. We definitely want classic, classic, classic. Heroic, as the game is meant to be played. Let's chill a bit. Yeah, it's just chill time, you know. No, this is fine. Any new Elden Ring weapons you had fun with? Oh, a bunch. A bunch. I mean, yeah, probably the weapon side of things, like just giving us new things to play with was that was probably the greatest thing in the DLC. I really like Milady and all the what do you call them? Light greatsword movesets. Just very, very nice animations. Really like that. That took me through the DLC, was pretty much that weapon. That one, and even though it's a little bit on the sort of edgelord, over-designed side of things, the Dragon Hunter Great Katana, really like that weapon. I just like how it looks. It you know, it does something to like the 12-year-old boy in me. Let me know if I should turn up the volume. I mean, let me see. I don't know how loud it is for you guys, but if you want me to turn it up or turn it down, just let me know. I can fix Leda or Leda. Elden Ring DLC was some of the best from the base game and all of the worst, and even worse. I found the entire experience more frustrating than rewarding. That's interesting. I mean, I feel like I had a great time. I feel like it was just overall a way better. You know, I think there's an element of taste in here because there's certain things about the base game that I did not enjoy, and I feel like the people who did enjoy those things didn't like the DLC, whereas I had kind of the opposite experience. Like, you know, all these sort of empty areas is something that I really liked. I like just sort of wandering around these empty areas. I like pretty much all the bosses, except for Gaius, just because the hitboxes are so bad. Even things like the hippo, you know, there's some bad grab attacks there, but no, I pretty much liked all of them. I can't really think of one that I really disliked.
You heard the lady. Move like you got a purpose.
I like that they took a quality over quantity approach. Yeah, for sure. Map design was incredible. Exactly. Yeah. The map design. I think actually the most sort of the thing that I really liked about it was it felt like they sort of designed the whole map as like a giant dungeon. Rather than this sort of the base game, it feels more like it's the Breath of the Wild approach where you have like you know, open field and then it's sort of pockmarked with different things to do. And that's sort of there in the DLC, but in the DLC I feel like it was more like they designed kind of the whole map with this sort of dungeon crawling element, where you've got these areas that they're open areas, but they're sort of more linear in design, like the Abyssal Woods. That's probably my favorite moment in the DLC, was finding the Abyssal Woods. Yeah, the different entrances to Shadowkeep. Shadowkeep probably, you know, I'm gonna need to let it sit and simmer before I probably will go back and make a like a review video of the whole Elden Ring now, because I did a critique of the base game, but now that we sort of have the whole thing, but I'm gonna need to let it sit a bit. But I really think Shadowkeep is certainly one of their best dungeons. I think that's just a beautiful, beautiful dungeon. Elden Ring gets better with subsequent playthroughs, in my opinion.
The captain needs you on the bridge ASAP.
Get out of my way. Yeah. I think that's true, actually. How satisfied am I with the state of the lore now? I think that there's a few things, you know, I wasn't really expecting complete answers on it, on everything, because that would be disappointing in a different way. But
Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best,
I think
never really had a chance.
there's a few things which I'm surprised they didn't address at all.
No thanks to you.
Namely just the whole role of Destined Death and the Glowmite Queen.
It must have been one of their boarding parties.
And I'm not really sure what to make of that. The fact that that doesn't play a factor.
Captain, the cannon was my last defensive option.
All right then.
Because I would have expected that to be really important.
We're abandoning the offer. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
Yeah, we got 0 GQ. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and land the
And that I'm not the you know, I'm not annoyed about that exactly. I'm just sort of curious because that seems to me like it indicates something about, well, who that character is and what the role that they're playing is, right? Like the focus of the DLC, it's on something different, but I expected Destined Death to play a bigger role.
Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy.
Yeah, and nothing about Torrent either. Although I guess
weapons research.
there is more context, as ambiguous as it is, about just spirits and the shamans and possibly connections to like the ancestral followers and how that might relate to Torrent. So there is sort of some context there.
Yank me.
But yeah, there's a few things that I'm surprised. I'm saying that I'm surprised. I'm not disappointed that we didn't get it. I'm just surprised that we didn't get it because the fact that we didn't get anything about Destined Death tells me that's actually important, I think, to understanding the story.
Don't keep it loaded, son. You'll have to.
Because that means that it doesn't play a factor into this early history stuff, which is kind of interesting. But I'm not really sure what to make of that. Why does this feel weird? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff which, Christian says, I feel like we're supposed to look at GQ stuff in the light of St. Trina and the Stone Coffin stuff. But there's nothing that explicitly links them. I think that's right. I think that, there's a lot of stuff, I mean, and this is always how I think the DLCs have kind of been, is that it's certainly, I think, with the closest comparison, which would be like Ring City, that there is, they want to tell a different story that kind of covers the same concepts, even though it's, I mean, obviously it's part of the same story, but they're trying to tell something that is on its own a completely different story. So you have this whole story about Mikola, but I think it's a way of also telling us about America. But the question is like, okay, how exactly do you draw these parallels then? So it just depends on... oh, that was dumb. It depends on like what exactly the parallel that you draw is.
We go out and they come in.
So as far as Saint Trina goes, I think that's probably a super important metaphor or like analogy that we can use to look at other things, like especially Radigan. But I'm not entirely sure what to make of it yet. Wow. Something is really weird with the controls right now. Torrent is probably a horn scent horse. Whatever that means. I mean, I guess part of what's sort of holding me up is... This is very high, but I guess that's fine. Part of what's holding me up is like just the horn scent, the shamans. This is a very confusing part of the lore, and how does that connect with like America being of the Newman and their whole project, the Eternal Cities, like how does that connect into everything? That is where I think I'm struggling. Yeah, the putrescent night is called the Night of the Glomide. Well, isn't it just Glomide Night or Glomide Night, something like that? I don't think it says Glomide Queen, if I remember correctly. GQ does have some tenuous connections to sleep in how she cradles newborn apostles. I mean, okay, maybe I'm just, maybe I'm just hallucinating, but I feel like the fact that we didn't get anything about the Glomide Queen kind of makes me feel more confident about the idea that the Glomide Queen was Marika. Because...
Did anybody see me? I kicked ass.
We should have received something about that. So if we didn't, it means probably that she is a person that we already know. I guess you could continue with the Melina as the Gek thing, but I don't know. It's just there's a few things that I'm not really clear on. Really how the Newman fit in, I don't get that. Let me kill this guy and then we read some comments. At least Trina looked really cool and had a funny interaction. I loved that. That was amazing. The most confusing thing for me is the relation between Newman and shamans. Yeah, that is really where I'm kind of... I'm not sure what to make of any of that, because... It was already pretty weird in the base game, and we had this idea of, like, Marika as a Newman, and then there's the Newman and the Nox, and the Night Folk, and the Ancient Dynasty, and no one was really sure how that all connected, and the Ancestral Followers. That was already kind of a weird, confusing mix of things. And now we add in the shamans and the horn scent into that, and I'm just like, okay, but what's the relationship between all these things? And also, I mean, I don't know, there's so many questions now. There's like, where do the giants fit into all of this as well? And the Fell God. Could be that Marika wasn't a queen in the Shadowlands to claim that title. Wasn't a queen in the Shadowlands to claim that title. I don't know why I'm having trouble just understanding that. Maybe you can rephrase that. The big great Elden lore stream, I should do that again. Yeah, I probably will. I mean, right now I'm just kind of like, I'm just a little bit exhausted. I'm not done with the lore, but I'm just kind of like, okay. There's a lot of questions, and it's going to take me a while to figure out anything, so I'm just not going to go full speed ahead right now. Well, I think we can maybe see a cultural shift from, like, spiritualists who live by the land to, like, grand cities and conquests and scientific pursuits. Yes. Yeah, I guess just... I don't know, there's a lot of things that I don't really have an opinion on yet, like... For example, there was the patch that changed the line from calling her the Empyrean Grandam to the Hornsent Grandam. Which is, in a way, like, even more confusing, because... Damn it, how did I miss? Like, are Empyreans and Hornsent, are they two different species? Are they two different races? Or are they the same... Are they all human? With just different, you know, belief systems? Or are they even part of the same culture, and this is just something that's gone on forever? But then, like, how do the Newman fit in? And there was this whole idea of, like, the Newman being Maribito, you know, visitors from another world. But that seems weird now, given that, like, America comes from this village. And then there's just a lot of stuff. There's the coffins, how does that fit in? The coffins have, like, bulls on them, so there's, like, some kind of horn thing going on there. Oh, I think, I see, Puzzleheaded, thank you. Yeah, explaining why there's no reference to her if she was American. That was my thought, basically, is, like, if there's no reference to the Glow-Eyed Queen, probably she's a person that already is just known by another name. From the Imago Mundi to the Roman architecture, I believe with time we will get to the bottom of this. Yeah, that's also it. It's like, I don't feel like there's this great rush. You know, like, a lot of content creators tried to jump on this immediately, and, like, you know, I get it, because that's also their job. For me, this is just, like, something I do on the side for fun. So I don't feel like a tremendous rush to figure things out. There's going to be lots of, like, data mining and discoveries that are found. So we'll figure it out in time. Kingenro1 says, "Hey Crunchy, apologies if you've been asked this already, but are there any topics on which you know you still want to do a video on?" Well, I do want to get back to, at some point, sometime in the next decade, finishing my Dark Souls, the music of Dark Souls video. That is something I want to do. If that goes well, I might do a sort of series, maybe not on every FromSoft game, but on a few of them. You know, just kind of pivoting to talking more about music, because that's kind of my background. I had an idea for a video, which is still, I'm just sort of thinking about. Very different, not related to any of this at all, really, but just about the weird trend in media in which creators hate their own audience, or they seem to. Basically, this sort of trend where you give a beloved IP to people who don't like that IP and seem to disparage the audience that does like that original IP. It's a weird trend. I thought of making a video sort of talking about the psychology of that, but I gotta give that a lot more thought. As far as Elden Ring goes, I don't really have an idea for what I want to do a video on. I did think of just making a video of all the questions that I have, just like compiling everything that I don't know, because I don't know what I want to say about the things that I do know. So, yeah, I don't really have a clear idea yet. The OST of the DLC was so good. Yeah, huge improvement, and oh my god. See, I feel so vindicated now. Everybody's going on about how great the OST was. The escaping the Kitamura trap. I feel incredibly vindicated that just getting rid of Kitamura is instantly improves everything. Stop it. Let's see. Oh, hey Tazo. Oh, you beat Halo 1. Nice. Halfway through Halo 2. Yeah, Halo 2 can be a little bit of a slog, honestly. But if you make it through, 3 is really the greatest one, and Halo 2 is, it's not really a slog. It actually has some of the coolest stuff in it, but the difficulty is, it's just not, it's not well balanced. It's a very incomplete game. Let's see. Thinking about The Witcher, for instance, on that producers hating their audience. Yeah, The Witcher is one example. 343, yeah, as someone mentioned, 343 is another perfect example where they literally hired people who hated Halo. I don't know if anybody is familiar with this story, if you're not familiar with Halo that much, but, you know, the original Halo games, this came out 2001, Halo CE. The original games were made by a very small team at Bungie, and they did Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. They did a sort of DLC, which was another whole game for Halo 3 called Halo 3 ODST, and then they did Reach, and then the IP got taken up by a different studio called 343 Industries, and it was a really weird takeover, because they deliberately, they had a rule like to not hire former Bungie employees. They wanted to hire people who hated Halo. This, explicitly, they've said this, right? They wanted to hire people who didn't like Halo. They tried to appeal more to the Call of Duty audience. They just tried to sort of turn it into something completely different, based on people that didn't like the original game, which is just a really weird thing. Another example would be the Demon's Souls remake, where, you know, there's interviews of the guy, the director for it, who is saying things like, you know, well, in your mind, when you fought Tower Knight, it was really epic, but if you go back and play that, it's actually not that great, and we want to make it better, you know. Which is, again, this incredible ego, arrogance, and this sense of not really respecting the thing that you're taking over. So it's just, there's a pattern, there's a few things like that out there, and I thought it would be interesting to do a kind of talk about that, but I have to gather my thoughts on that. Let me just read some comments here. What is this? Mesmer's second phase music is great. Oh, whoops. Here we go. Get some cover here. Mesmer's second phase music is great. You prefer Halo 1 over Halo 2? Yeah, I mean, Halo 2, there's so many good ideas that it was just super rushed and they just didn't get to deliver on what they wanted to deliver on, which is kind of a shame. But you kind of see most of those ideas taking shape in 3, so... Haven't played any of the 343 games. They're very bad. They're very bad. Just on every dimension, like story, gameplay, just stupid decisions, even just like graphics and animations. You know, there's like pop-in textures all the time, and it's kind of ridiculous. Infinite is by far the best, but it's still very poor. Come on. Okay. Let me see. Recently... Oh, what is this? 343 games look better than Bungie games, but lacks fun aspect? I don't agree at all. I completely disagree. I think they look a lot worse. If you mean that they're like a higher resolution, sure, because they were made later, but that's like the most shallow kind of version of them looking better. No, in terms of art design, in terms of lighting, in terms of the atmosphere, all of that kind of stuff, I think the Halo 3 is still, I think, one of the best looking games of all time, and that came out in 2007. It looks better than so many games that exist now. Recently, a leaker was followed by a bunch of the OG Halo... Sorry, I can't read all these. Okay, I gotta kill these guys first, and then I'm gonna go and read some comments, because I can't scroll up while I'm shooting. Come on, bro. Okay, there we go. Everybody's dead. Let me read. So, recently an insider leaker who is followed by a bunch of the OG Halo people made like a 5,000 word Twitter expose on 343 and their disdain for Bungie, and it's way more egregious than we first thought. You're talking about Haley. Yeah, I've followed Haley for a long time, and she's... I don't know what her connections are exactly, but she's on friendly terms with a lot of these former Bungie devs. And yeah, she has a lot of interesting insights into what happened then. And it is pretty horrible. It is really horrible what happened. I mean, and it's also, it's all packaged up in a whole bunch of things. I mean, I know Marty now is kind of a controversial figure because he was running to be a politician, so everybody hates him. But what they did to Marty was ridiculous, both at Bungie and Microsoft, and it's kind of a shame because I think he is really one of the greatest. Actually, I feel confident saying one of the greatest living composers in any genre, and it's kind of a shame that he kind of got treated unfairly. It's a case of mediocre people hiring other mediocre people so they don't look bad. I think that's part of it. I think there's lots of different things going on. I think ego is a part of it. I think it is a bit of what is that called? The Dunning-Kruger effect, right? Where like, if you're a bad leader and you don't know how bad you are, then you can't recognize skill, so then you don't hire skilled people. And it was also chasing trends, right? So they wanted to capture the Call of Duty market. A lot of this, I think, it comes from trying to capture an audience, and in the process, sort of leaving your existing audience by the roadside. So that's part of it. I think that's just it. Arrogance. These people who no doubt are artists with great ideas should not co-opt others' art to jumpstart their own ideas. Yeah, it definitely is an ego thing. That's part of it. it's a weird resentment that people have when they have big boots to fill. I think that actually is getting closer to the truth of it, is this sense of resentment. It is kind of the, there is something very childish and immature about the attitude. The narcissism kind of comes with that, the ego comes with that, but there is this, resentment is the right word for it. Blue Point I commend, but they mess up atmosphere so much, just not carrying over the artistic decisions when it comes to atmosphere. Same with Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah, and I think, I mean, if you've seen Rada's video on it, on the Demon Souls remake, I helped him with that video, and we talked about it quite a lot. And I read all these interviews with the guys, and they, especially the director, I can't remember his name. It's like Garth or something. Gary. Starts with a G. Some of his quotes, I mean, it really just displays, like, they did not want to respect the original. They'll sort of say in some places, like, yes, well, of course we respect the original ideas, but then they'll indicate in other places, like, well, we want to make it better, right? So there is this kind of ego thing of, like, well, we can do better. Like, it was especially, I think, easy in the case of Demon Souls, because there is this narrative that, like, the original Demon Souls was sort of janky, and they didn't, it didn't work well for the time. If they had made it today, they would have done it very different, which is not untrue exactly. But that sort of argument always comes from people who have never created anything. Because if you've created anything, you realize that, like, this idea that you're delivering a lower quality product because of the limitations of your time, that doesn't make any sense. You deliver a product, the best product that you deliver, the product that, like, your vision, your artistic vision or whatever, is within the context of the tools that you have to work with. So that is part of it. Like, of course, yeah, if you had different tools, then it would result in something different. But it's not like you're sacrificing something because, well, at the time that they made Demon Souls, there weren't better tools out there. So, I don't know, that line just doesn't really make sense, but it always, to me, that just identifies people who have never actually created anything. The aesthetics of the OG Halo games are iconic. True. Halo 3 doesn't look great at all. It looked outdated even when it came out. Completely disagree. I think it looks better than 95% of games released today. 343 still trying to capture the COD audience a decade after COD stopped being relevant. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think you may be missing some context of, like, a lot of this just being from treating games as economic products first and not at all as cultural objects. Well, the problem, I mean, no, it's a good point. The problem is they're both, and it's not always easy to see how, like, the cultural stuff impacts the bottom line. So the thing is, like, with Halo, it's kind of interesting because they totally tanked not just the Halo series, but Xbox, because, like, Xbox rode on the back of Halo, right? That's when Halo 1 came out. That was, like, it was Xbox, and when Halo 2 came out, they invented, like, Halo 1 invented console first-person shooters, right? It was the first one to use a controller for the console. There was, like, Doom and things like that, but that was all on PC. So Halo invented console first-person shooters. It built up Xbox, the first Xbox. Halo 2 essentially invented, or popularized online console gaming, right? Like, it was the biggest game when Halo 2 released. That was the biggest thing that ever happened. It probably is still the biggest game release of all time.
More of them.
Oh, true. There's GoldenEye. Yeah.
Back me up.
Yeah, that's fair. There was GoldenEye. But now 343, like, all three of their games have done poorly. Nobody's playing them. There's more people playing Master Chief Collection than there are playing Halo Infinite. They've lost much of their core audience,
Let's do it.
and they don't really have much to show for themselves. So, now, okay, you could say, well, maybe the idea was good, they just didn't execute it well. As in, like, well, they should have tried to capture the COD audience. They just didn't do it well. So that's one interpretation. But also, I think there's an important element of this, which is like, there's this dichotomy between, okay, do you make a great game, or do you make a game that sells well? Well, the problem is that, like, making a great game also affects how it's going to sell. And you can't exactly predict that in advance. Like, you don't know exactly how that's going to, affect sales. Like, little artistic decisions. How can you translate that into sales? You can't. You have to kind of just predict and guess and hope that things work out. But it does have an impact. So it's not just like, sorry, I'm just concentrating on this guy. Come on. It's not like you can just go full in on, like, trying to sell things and then forget about the artistic value. Because if you do that, what ends up happening is that then people don't really like it and then they don't buy it. So, like, just trend chasing, like, you look at some of the games now that are really popular, like Fortnite. Fortnite does a lot of things that I find really ugly and horrible, but, like, it is a really well put together game. If it's even can be called a game now, I mean, it's like there's so much going on there, but it's incredibly well put together. It's an incredibly well made game, even if it's not my particular taste. Like, I gotta respect that, and it is delivering what people want, what that audience wants. A lot of other trend chasers, I think they'll find that, you know, it's like the same thing that's happening with movies and TV shows, where everything is a reboot or a sequel or a remake or something like this. So you're trying to capitalize on IPs because you know that if you've got some popular existing IP, that something's going to sell. But so it's a safe bet in terms of following the bottom line. But then, if you still make something bad, like, what happens is, the first thing that you do, so, like, you revive some old IP that's popular, and you make a movie. You know, you make a movie about it. And maybe the first movie does well, because it's just capitalizing on that popular IP. But, and it might do well even if the movie is bad, because people just want that nostalgia. They just want that IP again. But then, like, you've sort of exhausted the well then. If you go back and you try to make another thing, like, people are not going to be as happy with it.
The lifeboat's totaled, sir. There are supplies and weapons all over the place, but I can't find any bodies. Maybe somebody made it out alive.
To be fair, companies have to look at their products as economic first, at least on the business side. Yeah, of course. But, like, you are making something which is sold because of its artistic, you know, because of the experience that it provides, because of the artistic value that it provides. So, like, if all you're concerned about is making money, like, you do need to think about, well, how do artistic decisions translate into different amounts of money, right? Like, different things that you do are going to result in more profit or less profit. And you can't predict that just by following trends or trying to capture different audiences or something like that. Like, there are lots of decisions that go into that, and nobody really knows what the answers are. And probably the people who are best suited to know the answers are actually the artistic people, not the finance people, not the management types. I really hope Bluepoint doesn't touch any other From Software games for remakes. They could do Bloodborne, possibly. You know, I could see that being a thing. I don't have any particular, like... Bloodborne is not super close to my heart, so I wouldn't... You know, I'd be interested to see Bluepoint's remake. I think it would probably be bad, but... I don't know. I would play Bloodborne again if I had something that could play it on 60 FPS, because it makes no sense to me how that game is 30 FPS and yet we have Dark Souls remastered at 60 FPS. Like, Dark Souls, the slowest game in the series, is 60 FPS. Bloodborne, one of the fastest, you know, besides Sekiro, is at 30 FPS. It doesn't make any sense. And if they did 60 FPS and just fixed the anti-aliasing, I would happily play Bloodborne again, and probably enjoy it a lot more than I did the first time. GoldenEye, best single-stick multiplayer shooter. Multiplayer GoldenEye, not the greatest, I have to say, but it's okay. 343 managed to turn Halo into a niche title and alienate whatever niche they might have had left. Yeah, exactly. Crunchy, so glad you're still here. I've been eagerly awaiting your ER content. Anything upcoming? Can you make sense of the new lore? Let's see. Short answer, no to both of those questions. Long answer, yes, I do want to make more lore stuff. Just right now I'm a little bit exhausted and I don't have anything worth saying. So... You know, there's a bunch of stuff that I'll be thinking about, but, like, until I have an idea to run with, I'm not gonna put anything out, so... Come on. Howdy Crunchy, don't know if you've talked about this, but what are your thoughts on Miyazaki saying they're gonna make smaller games in the near future post Elden Ring? Is that what he said? I think that's a great idea. I think that's a wonderful idea. I hope that they make a bunch of games. I want a FromSoft game every year. God, I suck. What the heck? Oh, come on. You're not gonna kill me now. God damn it. I'm out of focus. Let me just... Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. God damn it. See, this is just the most horrendously ugly thing. Oh, beautiful.
I'll call in a dropship to pick them up.
Oh yeah, I don't mean that making money and making good art are always like in conflict. Like, I mean, look at Elden Ring, LOL, that's refining a very niche thing and still creating a very novel work. Yeah. I mean, I think to some extent they are always in conflict, actually. So I actually kind of disagree with that. I mean, there is something when you're creating...
Hey, good one!
There is something about creating a work of art that...
Get your own, I saw him first!
Having a financial motivation can be useful, and it can help direct your attention and sort of stop you from doing... What would you say? It can be useful, but it also feels sort of... like it sullies the art aspect. Like there's something that the artistic aspect is demeaned by the financial aspect. I think it's something that every creator has to deal with. So I actually do think there is a conflict there that is not easy to avoid. Um,
All quiet. Cavalry has arrived.
Echo 419 to Cortana.
how do you feel regarding the focus of the lore from Shadow of the Erdtree and what was not touched on? Well, as I already said, I'm very surprised they didn't mention Destined Death. Beyond that, I think, you know, it was an interesting story. I was wrapped up in it. I enjoyed it. You know, it was a story about Mikola, and that was also... It was also providing context for other things that we knew from the base game. But I enjoyed it. I don't really know... How do I feel regarding the focus of the lore? I don't know. I feel good. I think a better strategy is to kind of play the long game of investing in a niche, but I feel like people just doing a job are more likely to think, how can we iron this out into something broader? Well, yeah, I think there is something to that. Like, you look at the popularity of FromSoft, and they understood there is something... a lot of people who are fans of anything, whether it's a movie or a TV show or a video game series or anything at all, right? A lot of them are sort of loose fans where it wouldn't take much for them to leave, or, you know, like something happens, they get a different job, they're in a new place in life, and they're gonna leave. It doesn't take much for them. Other fans are hardcore fans, and those fans are going to stick with you no matter what. It's kind of with anything. And I think it's really important, no matter what business you're in, no matter what services you're providing, you got to keep your hardcore fans happy. I think that's super important. Even you can still try and reach other people, but like, you got to keep the hardcore fans happy, because they're also the ones who are going to market for you. Like, a hardcore fan is going to tell other people, hey, you got to play this game, you got to watch this movie, it's amazing, right? They're going to do all the marketing for you, if they really love it. But if they don't love it, if they're just there because they're obligated to, because of, you know, their history with the IP, they're not gonna do that. Bloodborne is such a gem. I'd love a port of it, or even just a 60 FPS version. Yeah. Maybe I should ask you on Discord, but do you have any ideas that connect America to the Flame of Frenzy? I asked because of the revelation of shamans blending in the Flame of Frenzy, incinerating everything, dividing and distinguishing. Yeah. It is something I've been thinking about. There is that line, I think it's the Matting Hand description, which talks about, like, it's something about, like, revenge for the injustice that was done. I can't remember exactly what the line is, but I was sort of wondering if that was actually connected to the shamans. I don't have any solid connection there, but it is an interesting idea. Yeah, definitely. The idea of blending, I mean, I feel like I'm very happy about the lore in one respect, which is just to sort of vindicate my focus on this identity thing. The idea that there's something very weird about identity, and that it's super important that we understand how that works in order to understand anything else. We get this whole thing of melding flesh and being put in pots. So, I don't really understand how it works, but I do appreciate that, like, it's very clear that's an important focus. So, oh, I mean, also the thing with Frenzy is there was all the cut stuff about Saint Trina, Saint Trina's song sort of being the thing that counters Frenzy, which I guess I'm not really sure what to make of that, but or whether it's even relevant anymore. But personally thinking Frenzy is the sun, especially since the greater will might be the void of space, at least in some way. Oh yeah, there's a couple things that I really do enjoy. Probably my favorite new thing in the DLC is the fact that we got the dialogue option, ask about the nature of the world. I think that's my favorite dialogue option ever, and you know, I wish we had got it a couple more times maybe, but I'm very happy we got that. Saying this after the delay, but it's no wonder the studio named after the biggest asshole in the Halo series didn't do Halo well. Yeah, not just okay. I mean, well, you haven't gone through Halo 3 yet, so I won't spoil anything. But not just the biggest asshole. The name is so fitting, it's actually ridiculous how fitting it is. If you just think about, for anybody who's familiar with the whole story. Just think about the who that character is. Oh, thanks, man. You get out of the car.
Go, go, go! Got him.
Do you think Count Ymir is cute? I don't know if I wouldn't use the word cute exactly, but I do like him a lot. He's very funny. Where'd you go? Am I crazy? Was there a guy here? We are Stardust. Isn't that magnificent? To think that we are the children of the cosmos or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Damn. Why am I'm like not aiming at all? Oh god. Okay. I do think, you know, one thing which is on my mind is there's like a theme of abandonment. Like the whole thing, the instigating thing, the impetus for everything is basically that the greater will abandoned his daughter. And that seems really important because the whole DLC is about like Mikola abandoning pieces of himself, including his other self, whatever that means. His doubt, his vacillation, his body, his eye, his heritage. This like abandoning things for power. It's sort of, I sort of think it's like a really messed up version of the Buddhist idea that, you know, you like you abandon who you are, you abandon all the things that you cling to in order to become enlightened. But it's like a kind of a dark version of that. Yeah, forsaking your children. I think that's an important theme because we're literally we're told that this is the impetus, like at least if we trust Ymir, that the impetus for everything is the greater will abandoning his daughter. And I think that's super important, especially since apparently Miyazaki has a daughter now. He had a son and they just had a daughter recently. So I think that's a really important idea. Yeah, and so many adopted daughters, so many daughters that whose mothers have abandoned them, or whose parents have abandoned them rather. So I'm not sure really what to add to that. I just think that seems like an important theme. It's like abandoning your children, abandoning your loved ones for power. I mean, it's sort of, it's always the same idea. It's like you abandon what makes you human in order to gain power, and then you become something inhuman as a result.
The enemy has captured Captain Keyes and are holding him aboard one of their cruisers. The Truth and Reconciliation...
The Greater Will in Elden Ring might just be the black hole at the center of its universe, and Meteor was just the last to interact with it.
So how do we get inside the ship in the air? Core issued me a rifle, not wings.
I don't know. This just reminded me of something. One thing which I don't think I've seen anybody mention is like, so we have Meteor, and Meteor is underneath the Cathedral of Manus Meteor. Well, in the base game we have Manus Kellis. So, is Kellis another finger? Finger person? Finger thing?
I recommend using your sniper rifle to take out the gunners while I call for Marines.
Is Kellis the Elden Beast? Feels like if we get Manus Meteor and then we meet Meteor, then we have Manus Kellis. That feels like that means Kellis was also some kind of celestial entity. So, I don't know, that's a question that I have. Greater Will is there and then abandons you, but it's okay because America is now mom. But then she abandons you, but don't worry, Mikla is here now, and nothing bad is gonna happen this time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a metaphor for how working in Japan makes you abandon your loved ones. That's, I don't know about that. I think the DLC adds some of that Dark Souls-style melancholy to a lot of the lore, especially with the Greater Will and America's backstory. Yeah, I mean, I think the Shaman Village is like one of my favorite locations ever. Oh, what? Must have been a chain reaction. Oh, back here. God damn it. I think the DLC... Oh, yeah, I read that. Okay, Ymir's hat has a hole in it. Right, it's the lightless abyss of the Greater Will. That seems super important. I asked because there's some strange connections to Midra's Manse and the Shaman culture, and it's making me recontextualize the... Oh, god damn it. I'm gonna die again. The Shaman... It's making me recontextualize the Flame of Frenzy ending, especially after noticing Midra posing like Marika.
Stick to the higher ground to the right.
Huh.
Recon the Covenant position without being spotted.
Interesting.
I've detected Covenant stationary guns near the next house. I recommend using your sniper rifle to take out the gunners while I call for Marine support.
Let him have it! Get on it!
I figured it's the one that Ronnie offed, because it looks different from the Tower Fingers. Yeah, it's possible. It's just the name of Ronnie's fingers, but like, why do they get a name then? Do all the fingers have names? That seems weird. Shaman Village, you know, an area in one of these games is good when you're compelled to press the slow walk button. Exactly. Yeah, I think this is the thing I really enjoyed about the DLC, is just all the sort of atmospheric stuff. These sort of open, empty areas that just are about vibes. That's the sort of stuff that FromSoft does better than anybody else, so I like when they lean into that. Also the tidbit of fire versus ice, light versus void of space. I'm not sure exactly what you're referencing there.
Stop.
The one thing that really surprised me about the DLC was the degree to which America gets vindicated, as I've grown very tired of the noble savage worship in this fandom. It's incredibly sued stuff. I think it's unclear how vindicated she is, because we just don't exactly know what happened. So,
I'm going
But yeah, it does seem like she's certainly made more sympathetic.
That'll teach 'em. Yeah. Covering fire.
Yeah, I guess we don't really know if, like, did she sell out her own people? Is that possible? It does make sense for her story to be a revenge story. I don't know why. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. But, yeah, like, the details are just not there.
My fault. Hey.
Oh, I love the Halo 1 assault rifle. I'm personally not at all convinced America is a victim. Yeah. Well, I'm not convinced of anything about America yet. Nordic myth, Ymir is a giant and the fire giants fight ice dragons, just making a connection. Maybe there's some theme there. Yeah, it's hard to know, like, you're inspired. I mean, this has always been something with the Elden Ring stuff that I feel partially responsible for because I leaned really heavily into the alchemy stuff, but, like, when you're looking at sources of inspiration, like, you can take something and turn it into so many different things. So, like, let's say I'm making a game and I'm going to be inspired by Greek myth, right? So, I really like the story of Prometheus, right? So I could use the name Prometheus. I could also use the concept of, like, these titans that existed before the gods. I could also use the concept of, like, being chained up and having your, you know, having part of you eaten every day and then it grows back. I could also use the idea of, like, Prometheus is the one who sees the future. He sees ahead, Prometheus, versus his brother. It was like Epimetheus or something. I could also use the idea of him, you know, gifting fire to mankind. There's, like, lots of different elements that I could use, but I could use them all separately for different things. They don't all have to, like, connect together. So when you look at, like, oh, there's the name Ymir, like, clearly it means that they were inspired by Norse myth, but it doesn't mean that that character necessarily is connected to anything else that might be related to the Ymir of Norse myth. I don't know if that was really, if that made a lot of sense, but... Oh, fucker. Hold on, I gotta... Let me just pause here and read your comments. I'd kill for a Halo Souls-like set during the Forerunner trilogy of novels. The braided hair description is too sus. What was her wish, her confession? Yeah, I don't know. The vibe I got was that her people were brutalized by the Horn Freaks, and her story is one of someone who starts off noble and looking for revenge, and then becomes a tyrant. Yeah, maybe. There's a lot of parallels with Attack on Titan. I'm wondering how closely that might parallel things. This is a question the DLC has left me with. Are the Omens descendants of the Horn Scent? I don't know if they're descendants or if they're sort of... To me, the idea, if they're called omens, it's like an omen is anticipating something bad that's going to happen. So it feels like horns must have disappeared, and then when the omens popped up again, it was like, oh no, the horns are coming back, that's bad. So, not entirely sure how that fits in. Whether they're descendants or just like channeling the same kind of power. The thought of her coming back to the village after having gained all the power in the world and her people being gone is just too peak. Yeah. Yeah, it's all just idea blending and using entirely different contexts. Yep. I don't think Marika is really ever acting in defense of her shaman culture. She seems to abandon it in her age. Also, it's just not how she operates. Her war against the Hornset is like her other wars. It's for the sake of maintaining her power and her image as eternal. I mean, part of the problem here is it's not really clear why the Hornsent would have been allied with Marika at any point. That's the part that I don't get. Because clearly she used the Divine Gate. Right, I think that seems pretty clear. She used the Divine Gate at the top of Anir Lim. And there's this talk about betrayal. So it seems like they, she was leading them at some point. That's sort of the impression I get, is that she was leading the Hornsent. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's the impression I get, and I don't really get how that could be the case. I blame the Fingers and Greater Will for using Marika. They made her an offer at her most vulnerable, and she didn't consider the full consequences. Yeah. Um... I feel like if her story was about revenge, there would be no reason for the golden braid item to be like that. It could just say she wanted revenge, that was her promise or something. Um, I agree there's got to be more nuance to it than that. But I can see if this theme of abandonment is really key. What happens if you're abandoned? You feel isolated. You feel like the world is dangerous. So you need to control things, right? Because if you are not guided by a parent, right, this is my sort of armchair psychology read, right? You're not guided by a parent anymore. Like your parent abandons you. So what happens is you need to control your environment because previously you had this sort of stewardship that you knew your environment was safe because your parent was there, making sure that it was safe. Now they abandon you. Now you don't know what's safe. So you have to control the environment. You have to control your world. That means you need to gain power. And you also can't trust anyone, right? Because this sort of basic kind of trust has been broken. So you can't trust anyone. So betrayal is natural because you expect that they're going to betray you. You probably become a little paranoid. And what else? I think that yeah, and then I guess that could lead to some sort of like bitterness and resentment, right? Because and probably a feeling of, you're not worth much because why would someone abandon you if you were valuable, right? So from that angle, I think yeah, like revenge is not the revenge doesn't fit that as the only explanation, but it does seem to fit in there. There is like this cycle of revenge that it's playing with. I mean, this is the problem with Elden Ring. Is like there's like a million different things going on. So there isn't one theme. It doesn't all revolve around one idea. There's a bunch of ideas that are all competing. So I think the revenge thing is there. It's not the only thing. I think Marika was the first successful Empyrean made by Hornsent, possibly with Jartwin, who became GQ. They tried to incorporate her into their culture, but she bid her time, and when she used the Gates of Divinity, she ascended through betrayal, not as their champion, but for herself. One thing I was thinking about is I wonder if Radigan was a Hornsent guy, because the Lamenter, it has red hair, right? And then like the idea is, if Marika was a saint, like if she was the successful version of if she was the successful version of what happens with the jars, then maybe she was like blended with Radigan. Maybe Radigan was like a criminal, which would kind of explain the Thorn connection, the guilty stuff. Right? Like he's a criminal, he's a bad person, he's from the Hornsent culture, and the way that you get rid of that bad thing, you get rid of that Kagare, is you have to mix in something very holy, which is a priest, a shaman. So if you mix in the flesh of a shaman, then you can like get rid of, you can purify this bad flesh. So I wonder if Radigan was like some Hornsent criminal, essentially. Yeah, I guess the hard part there is I don't quite understand the relationship between the Giants and the Hornsent, because there's nothing... That's another thing which I'm very surprised, is that there's like nothing relating to the Giants. Damn it. Is Marika real? No. I kind of assumed Radigan and Marika was analogous to Saint Trina and Mikola, although maybe that doesn't contradict you necessarily. I don't know. It definitely seems like they are meant to be analogous, but there's also this thing in Elden Ring where, like, a lot of things are kind of similar but slightly different. You know, this is like a pattern.
Roger, Cortana. Echo 419 on approach. Alert! Covenant dropships are inbound.
The Lamenters look like Morgott. Morgott gets purified, and pure Morgott looks like the corpses comprising the gate. What the heck was that? You fucking idiot. Why did you throw a grenade at me? God damn it. The Lamenters are denizens of paradise. Are Lamenters like reflections of gate people? That's an interesting idea. I didn't quite get the Lamenter lore, to be honest. That is something I'm going to have to look at again. There was something something about being in darkness or something like that.
Come on! Which one of you freaks is next?
Okay, let me see. Sorry, this bit I just need to focus a little bit so I'm not looking at the comments too closely.
Hey mate, nice throw!
Don't get in my firing line, you idiot.
Fire!
Let me see. I really dislike how much the DLC relies on base game threads to bait us, only to completely cast all of it aside for huge letdowns that feel like non sequiturs. I wouldn't characterize it that way. I feel like it was just giving context to some things, but it was just like, it's a different story, you know? Like, it is not the Elden Ring base game story, it's a different story. So it's about that story. God damn it. Kidding me? Wow, I suck. Oh my god. Stop.
Want some more?
Wait, how are you still alive? What the fuck? Okay.
You can't hide from me.
What are you doing? Finally. This is atrocious. Okay, let me read some of these. The Lamenter is actually a single reference to lore theorists. They're ugly, smelly, they live in dungeons underground, and they really love to get a big head about things.
Copy that, Cortana.
Fantastic. I love it.
Once we're inside the ship, I can home in on the captain's command neural interface. They'll probably be in or near.
You can find the
ship's
three-finger-like model in Meteor Arena. Oh, interesting. Crunchy, would you touch a poop for $1 billion? Yeah, obviously. Who wouldn't? Mike, you would not? $1 billion to touch a poop? Bruh. It's not like you have to eat it or something. Come on.
We're in. I've got a good lock on the captain's CNI transponder. No Covenant defenses detected.
No Covenant.
There's no covenant here. Think maybe nobody's home.
This game is just great. What's my new favorite weapon from the DLC? Anvil Hammer. Oh, whoops. I should probably try and kill these guys.
Nice shot. Contact! Lots of contact! No covenant.
Oh.
You had to open your mouth.
What's my new favorite weapon? I don't know. I really enjoyed a lot of the weapons there. Bro, come on. I really like Milady. Really, really like Milady. I like, I was sort of disappointed with the Great Sword of Damnation. I thought that was going to be my favorite weapon, but it looks so much lamer when I hold it compared to when Midra holds it. I love the way Midra looks. So like, not being able to look cool and elegant like him, huge L. I really like the Smith Script Cirques. I ended up using those quite a bit. Also the Smith Script Hammer. which is perfect for my Thor build, because it even comes back. Let's see, what else did I like? I liked the Gazing Finger. Pretty epic. Wow, you just blew yourself up, you idiot. Backhand blades. I don't, in general, I don't like backhand blades in any media, because I think they look really stupid. It makes no sense. Nobody would ever fight like that. But, go. A lot better this time around. What else? What else was new? I mean, the Rolana swords. I like those a lot. What else? What else? What else? Oh, all my Marines died, I guess. It's a bummer. Oh, nice. I can just go on. Okay, man, there's something super relaxing about playing Halo 1. Halo 3 is my favorite, but I think that Halo 1 is the one I go back to the most. Really easy to just jump in. Totally agree. Totally agree. Halo 1 has a... I mean, Halo 1 has, like, a kind of atmosphere that doesn't exist in the others. There's almost like a horror game feel to it. There's a lot of quiet, ambient moments, which are just great. Crunchy, do you think the giant crag blade weapon, the gravity greatsword or whatever it's called, is meant to look like it has something to do with Malekith's sword? You're talking about the, Wait, which one? You're talking about, like, the one that's the Ruin greatsword? I don't know which one you're talking about. The one that blinks? The one that blinks. I don't know what that means. The one that blinks.
Cortana, 419, requesting reinforcements at our position.
Is it just me, or is the Skibbity avatar better than all the Erdtree avatars? Well, I like the Erdtree avatars fine enough, except for that one attack that they have where they shoot the golden stuff. But, I also really like the Skibbity avatar. So, I mean, but it's also, it's like, it's more of a designed boss. They clearly spent a lot more time on it, so, like, it's kind of hard to compare them. I did really enjoy it. I like how the music gets very sad. You feel sad for this Skibbity sunflower. Oh, you're talking about the ancient meteoric greatsword. That one is interesting. Yeah, there is kind of a resemblance to Malekith's blade. I don't know, that could just be coincidental. But, that one is cool because it's supposed to be an arrowhead, right? So, that is, like, the one reference in the game that we finally get to those giant Titan guys. Because clearly it's gotta be them, right? For an arrow to be that big. I don't know if you checked out the published cut dig site maps on the MCC workshop, but I adore exploring some of the unfinished ones for Halo 1 and 2. They have such a specific lost atmosphere. You know, I haven't actually tried playing them, but I did watch some videos about the dig site stuff. Because that's a... Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Halo 1 had such a weird... Halo 1's development, it's amazing that this game turned out the way it did, because, like, they basically built this game in 6 months, essentially. Like, they had been working on it for a long time, but they basically, like, restarted and went from the ground up 6 months before release. It's kind of crazy it turned out as well as it did. What are you doing? What? Okay, I just fucked up. Oh, stop. Getting confused by all the Marines. This is like playing Dark Souls. You gotta get behind them and backstab them.
Got it. The door is open. Everyone
Okay.
should move through now.
I will move through now. Thank you, Cortana. Bum, bum, bum. It's actually a little bit too easy on Heroic. But Heroic is how it's meant to be played, so... When I got to the Sauron Tower and the Chalice and spent 10 minutes trying to accept the fact that a few skibbity fragments were all that was there, I literally turned into the Joker. Yeah, that was probably the main thing I was disappointed in, was not having something more there. That was kind of disappointing. That was the worst disappointment? Yeah. Oh. Come on. Do you think there was supposed to be a hidden grave in Karo's hidden grave area? There are a lot of graves, but none of them is hidden. Don't you think the, I guess the hidden grave is like the red bit, but is that really that different from the Cerulean Coast? I just sort of assumed it was referring to like the giant, you know, the place where you go down to meet Saint Trina. Were there any big fights you won first try? I got Midra, Mesmer, Romina, both Divine Lions. Did you explore a lot of... Wait, it's cut off. Were there any big fights that I won first try? Definitely not the Divine Lion. The camera was killing me for ages with that one. Oh, did I explore a lot out the gate? Yeah, I started out exploring quite a bit and really taking my time. And then I had some YouTube comments that started to spoil some things. So then I kind of sped up and just wanted to get to the finish line just so that I would sort of experience things for myself. I can't think if there was anything that I won first try. I mean, there were a few of them that were fairly easy, I think. Yeah, Midra wasn't... I think Midra took me like, you know, 2 or 3. That one was pretty easy. Ramina, I think, was pretty easy. The ones that took me the longest were probably... the Dancing Lion, Rilana, and Gaius. I think those 3. Fisher is not someone's specific grave. It is a common grave. It would be a riot to hide a secret area in Karos if it is true. Yeah. I guess I really didn't think about that, because, like, the area names... I don't know, I just didn't give it much thought. I didn't think that it was meant to actually indicate much. How was the fissure even created? I wonder if it was from the moon crashing to Earth. Like the Morth runes. I crushed Rilana. Oh, god damn it. I crushed Rilana in 2 tries. Nice. Yeah, I don't know, I just, at that point, I was having difficulty. Like the what runes? The Muirth? The Muirth ruins? Where it says something about, like, the moon crashed into the ground. Was the Morth ruins caused by the moon and earth kissing sloppy style? Yeah, for sure. Have you read the Velvet Trina sword description? It talks about a more potent purple mist. Do you think this is the same purple mist covering all of Liurnia? Also the same Ronnie uses in Manifest.
That was amazing, sir. You really kicked the Stow it, Corporal.
Interesting. I don't remember it that well. I'll have to go back and check that one. There's definitely things that I missed.
Coming here was reckless.
So I probably will eventually do a whole, like, lore through of the game, including the DLC. But just not right now. I'm just kind of exhausted. I need to play some other games first. I need to play some Halo. I need to play... I really want to finish
Halo.
A Link to the Past.
Accessing the Covenant BattleNet.
And maybe Ocarina of Time.
According to the data in their networks, the ring has some kind of deep religious significance.
I never finished Outer Wilds either.
They believe that Halo
I do want
is
to
some
finish
kind
that.
of weapon, one with vast,
Just kind of do some other things
power.
for a bit. What do you think of the minor Erdtrees in Shadowkeep and inside that cave in Shadow Altus?
Now I see. I've intercepted a number of messages about a Covenant
Inside that
search
cave
scouting
in
for a
Shadow
control room.
Altus.
I thought
Oh,
they were looking for the
right.
bridge of a cruiser that I damaged during the battle above the ring.
I don't know.
Looking for Halo.
I don't really get where the Erdtree comes from anymore.
That's bad news. If Halo is a weapon and the Covenant gain control of it, they'll use it against us and wipe out the entire human race.
Yeah.
Chief, Cortana, I have a new mission for you. We need to beat the Covenant to Halo.
What kind of weapon slash build were you using, or were you switching between weapons? Oh, I always like to play these games by switching between things.
You have a point.
My ideal way to play like a Souls game is to have like at least 6 to 8 different weapons that I can go between for different scenarios, or just for variety's sake. So I mean, once I found Milady, that was my, I guess my main, Bloody Milady, with the Blood Tax Ash of War.
Keep it up, bro. Cover me.
Besides that, what did I have? I was using the Queen Rot Spear.
Sorry.
I had the Winged Scythe. I love that weapon. Such a great weapon. I really come around on the scythes. I'm really liking the scythes. What else did I have? I had some big weapons as well.
My bad.
Oh, I don't know. I had like the Crescent Moon Axe. I had the Regalia Viocade. I had yeah, I don't know. I like having a bunch of different weapons. So, but I guess I sort of mained with Winged Scythe and then Milady. Sort of transitioned into using that more. Hey Crunchy, I watched your Godfroy video. It was great. Could Godric grafted him? Because you never mentioned that possibility. Yeah, I don't really. You know, the point of the Godfroy video was not really about Godfroy. It was just a way to talk about this thing of weird identities that I didn't quite know what to make of. Come on, a sniper rifle shot should kill you. So I don't really care about Godfroy that much, but yeah. Hey Crunchy, what is the purpose of this Shadow Tree? Why do we never really hear anything about how the Horncucks feel about it?
Air support is cut off, Captain. We need to hold here until she can.
I don't know.
Oh man.
It's weird. It's also weird that it's not connected really
Stow the belly achings.
to the Shadow Realm.
You're a leatherneck.
Like it's further away.
You and the chief can get us into one of those Covenant dropships. I can fly us out of here.
Yes, Captain. There's a Covenant drop
Yeah.
still docked.
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. There's also all these questions about the timeline, like about when the Shadow Tree was created. Was it created with the Erd Tree? Like at the same time? Was that when the lands were separated? I think probably the next thing I'm going to do lore-wise is just try to put together a timeline. So maybe I'll just make that like a public doc. And then, yeah, I'll probably post that in the Discord and just work on that with time. There's a lot of timeline questions, I think.
Mount up. Let's get on board.
I want to try new weapons, but I keep running back to Moonveil like an old bad habit.
Give me a minute to interface.
I don't know, there are these weapons that...
No need. I'll take this bird out myself.
I like trying out new weapons all the time. Mostly the things... I get tired of certain weapons because of the animations. Like, I don't like the curved sword animations. I don't like the... I've sort of fallen away from the straight sword animations. They're not bad, but they're not my favorite. There's certain animations that I just don't like as much. Whereas, like, the hammer animations, oh my god, the hammer animations are beautiful. Hammer, and in terms of just the elegance of the animations themselves, Like, the light greatswords are just gorgeous, and then the hammer is probably a close second. Even though I don't really like using hammers because they're not that great, like, I just like using them for visually because of the animations. I'm beginning to think the skibbity tree is just there to look cool and doesn't actually serve a purpose. Well, it is there to look cool, that's for sure. This is one of the greatest levels ever made. Silent Cartographer. Oh, that's easy. The shadow tree is the shadow of the Erd tree.
Let's go, come on!
Yeah, obviously. Do you think Radigan might have been a Hornsent ruler that the Hornsent attempted to elevate to godhood? I'm playing with the idea that America was part of a pot ritual with Ragadan. So you were clearly not here a little while ago. That is exactly what I said. I actually said I thought Radigan may be a criminal, a Hornsent criminal, that they attempted to purify by mixing with a shaman who's like holy flesh, and that was America.
Area secure. All hostiles have been eliminated.
Maybe not a criminal, but like a sinner, because there's all this stuff with Radigan and Thorns. Although I don't know exactly how the original sin fits into this and how the snake stuff. I still don't. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe the dead bodies used to make the Erd tree manifested in the Shadow Realm like a tree. All manner of death washes up here type thing. It's an interesting idea. I like to think it's Radigan in the Enir Ilim monuments. Also explains his connection with the Misbegotten / Crucible. Yes.
Give it up. Got him. Running. Firing.
Oh, I actually haven't tried the Cursed Halo mod. I've just watched the videos on it.
Nice one. Keep it up.
I've picked up that Crunchy really likes all things elegant and dislikes many things that are feral. No, I don't dislike things that are feral.
Stay on target.
I don't see those as being opposites.
Oh, man.
Did you find the interior
Make it count.
area of the Shadow Tree?
Nice shot.
Wait, is that actually real?
That can't be all of them.
Wait, Ordeal, if that's actually real, can you ping me in the Discord? Because that's the first I've heard of that.
Make them count. Way to go.
Oh. This is actually a lot better with a mouse. I wonder if I should just... Yeah, okay, I'm gonna mouse control now. Hold on. God damn it. This needs to be done with mouse and keyboard. You can't grab a Warthog without a mouse and keyboard. You can't do these flips properly.
Damn it. Smooth now.
Yeah, this is how I remember playing this game. Okay.
See? They're not so tough.
I meant feral like Bloodborne? No, I don't. My problem with Bloodborne isn't that it's feral. That's not how I describe it. My problem with Bloodborne's like art style is that it's
Give me an angle.
indulgent. It's
Want some more?
my problem is that feral. I don't know. Feral is kind of a weird word to use to describe that. I mean, I think I kind of get what you're saying, but it's just not the word that I would use.
That burns.
Yeah, my problem with Bloodborne is that it is... I guess I have a couple problems. One is just a production problem where the low frame rate and then really, really bad anti-aliasing. Similar with Dark Souls 3 is also bad with that.
My analysis indicates that the map room should be at the bottom floor of this facility. Let's keep going
It
inside.
makes everything look kind of... I don't know, you can't really see the textures properly.
Don't let them lock the doors.
Alright, now I can't play with... I can't go back and forth with controller and mouse. Okay.
Let's keep going inside.
Yeah, Bloodborne... I don't dislike it, really, either. I mean, I would rather play Bloodborne than, like, you know, 100 other games. But compared to the other FromSoft games, it's lacking a kind of self-control that the kind of self-control that you get in Dark Souls or Demon Souls or Elden Ring. It doesn't have that, and partly that's kind of charming. There is a kind of charm in this, like, oh, everything's about blood, it's all blood and disgusting and gross, right? There's a bit of charm to that, but mostly I find it just, it gets obnoxious after a while. Hello, Roscoe. What the? What is this physics? Oh god. Okay, we gotta regroup here.
Looks like there is a path into the interior of the island. We need to find the security override to get this door open.
Okay, there's a path into the interior of the island. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't mind the Bloodborne aesthetic. It's more just, I find it tiring, and it's on top of a gameplay style which I don't like. It's kind of a similar thing where, like, the gameplay itself is sort of messy because of this rally system. I think the rally system is a really bad system. Not even just that it's executed badly, but that it's a bad system. I don't think you should do that. Because it encourages you to play badly. Encourages you to play messy. Whereas I think that the advantage of the FromSoft style of action is that it is strategic action, right? You're actually thinking about what you're doing. You have to be careful, and you're committed, right? These, like, long animations that you're committed to, you can't animation cancel. This idea does not meld well with the rally system. Surprising to me how much I love Bloodborne, given how much I hate horror games and stuff like gore. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's something different, and it does... the moments where it goes more sort of weird alien kind of aesthetic is, I think, more interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I just find it gets tiring to me. Damn, bro. Bro. I think the designs of the clothes is too exaggerated. that didn't really stick out to me. I kind of like that the Shadow Tree seems like a literal inversion of the Erd Tree. Like, Erd Tree is gold light exterior with shadowy interior. Hold on. What's this guy? Shadow is shadowy exterior around a gold light interior. Yeah. Oh, you were lying about the secret shadow area. God damn it! I was hoping there was a secret there. Now, in response to John, what you were saying about not liking horror games and gore and stuff, I think one of the things that I've always been confused about is why all these different genres are put under the same banner of horror. Because something like Amnesia or Soma is not at all like...
Good. That should open the door that leads into the main shaft.
It's not really about gore, you know, like gore is one element of horror. Like PT, you know, this is not about gore. There's no overlap there. In fact, they're almost diametrically opposed in terms of the tone that those two kinds of things are going for.
Understood. We're on our way.
Oh, I gotta look at these guys. Oh, actually, though, okay, here's a great game recommendation for everyone, because I'm also not a horror game enjoyer much, but oh my god, I absolutely love this game, Amnesia the Bunker. Really no connection to the other Amnesia games, except that it's also made by, what's it, Frictional, Thomas Grip, who is, I think, a total genius, by the way. He has an amazing lecture on game design, which you can find. But yeah, Amnesia the Bunker, highly, highly, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Fantastic game. Here's a Halo lore question for you, Crunchy. Why do the Grunts speak perfect English, but not the other Covenant aliens? Well, there is an answer to that. It is because at this point in the timeline of Halo, the translation software for the Ungoi was already developed because they do the most speaking, but they haven't developed it for the Kigyar or the Sangheili or the other races. So it's simply because they developed it at this point. And then in Halo 2, the other stuff was developed. Which is why you can understand elites. Or wait, no, maybe just in Halo 3 by that point. And then also the prophets as well. Yeah, so I'm slightly speaking ironically, Tazo. I don't think Bungie really gave a shit about questions like that. You know, they were just making a fun game. But you know, they'll come up with some reason. I think that's in one of the books, though. I wonder if I can make this jump. We're gonna try it. It's probably gonna fail. Damn it. we got to do this. So there is a level in Halo 2, which maybe you haven't gotten to yet, in which you can see the translation in real time. So you will see that. Oh, that's way off. Goddamn. Do you have a favorite Pokemon? Wow, I love that question. There's so many. Probably Cyndaquil. I think Cyndaquil is just peak design. One of the greatest Pokemon of all time. Come on. Oh. I fully believe the meta answer is that it makes the grunts funnier. Oh, absolutely. So part of one of the amazing things about Halo, which is underappreciated, is the AI. I probably could have made it there by now, but this is more fun. I know I'm gonna get it. So the AI system was kind of revolutionary. That was due to what's his name? Chris Butler, I want to say. They created an incredible system in which they actually have like a whole perception system where like Marines and enemies and stuff will react based on what they see and what they hear. There's very little what do you call it? Like ESP, or I'm gonna get this eventually. There's very little like omniscience. You'd like normally an AI just kind of you program it to act like it's smart, but or act like it's doing things that seem like living creatures. But in this case, they were actually perceiving things. They were actually processing information and like prioritizing different actions and different things to do. Oh, God damn it. I don't know why I'm not getting it. I feel like... Isn't this... I think that I'm getting this right. It's supposed to be like right at the edge here. And then it's just because of the way collisions are handled in Halo 1 that you can survive a lot of fall damage if you just land on an angle properly. Is Halo AI better than Fear AI? I think they're very different. I don't really remember the details of Fear AI. That was a while ago. Damn it. Okay, I guess I'll just go through this level. Oh, but what I was saying about the AI is, they spent a lot of time like playtesting, which is another reason that these games turned out so well. They did a lot of playtesting, which people don't take as seriously nowadays. There's a great talk actually about the AI given by Jamie Grismer and Chris Butler, and they mentioned the fact that like they wanted, you know, part of AI is actually making the enemies do things, and then part of it is communicating what the enemy is thinking to the player. Like giving the impression that they're smart, and having the player be able to respond and understand, you know, what's going on. So they wanted to communicate, like, one of the things that happens in the Halo games is when you kill the... there's lots of different, like, squadrons. Is that the right word? squadron. There are lots of different like groups, teams of enemy. So like these guys, these are just some lone jackals. They're not really doing that much. The hunters always come in pairs. But usually like your classic setup is you get an elite leader with a bunch of grunts and then maybe like a handful of jackals as a sort of utility. And if you kill the elite, then the grunts start running away. So if the elite's still alive, they'll fight to like the last man because like their leader's there. But if you kill the elite, then they all start running away, right? So there's a little bit of AI because the grunts are sort of fearful, they're cowardly, and this is just part of their AI behavior. But one of the things they talk about in this sort of AI talk is how none of the players understood that in the playtests, and so they just kept on making it more and more obvious until eventually they started adding in things like, now if you kill the elite, well, maybe I can do it here actually. So okay, here's a grunt, here's an elite. So if I kill the elite without killing the grunt, I gotta kill these as well. There we go. So he said he got elite, run. And they'll say things like, leader dead, run away. Right, so it's basically just a way to communicate like what is happening. Anyway, so I think this is all going back to Tazo, to your point about like the meta reason for the grunt speaking English. It is just a way, yes, to make them funnier, but also to be able to communicate like how the AI is behaving. Because when they say leader dead, run away, then you know that like, okay, you've killed the elite and so on.
Cortana to Captain Keyes. The captain has dropped out of contact, Cortana. His ship may be out.
I haven't played Ultra Kill actually. I should try that. I know a lot of people have said that.
Let me know when you've reestablished contact, and then tell him that the Master Chief and I have
Thinking back on it, I did notice all these things you mentioned. Grunts would say things like, he killed elite. Ah, yeah, exactly. That's it. It's something you don't even think about it, but like that's put in there specifically to tell you like what the situation is, so that you don't have to constantly look and figure out. Because part of the idea of Halo is you're playing. It's like a quasi cover shooter, right? Like that's the shield. The idea with the shield is the shield recharges, your health does not recharge. So as long as you have the shield, you're good, but as soon as the shield disappears, then you gotta find some cover. So you need ways to communicate what is going on when you can't see the enemies. So dialogue is one way to do that. And even just the creepy laugh that they do, like they'll only do that when they're running away or when a lot of damage has been done. They all have like death screams, so you know if your grenade killed them. Like I know I killed one elite and one grunt with that grenade because I heard both their death screams. It's not something you think about consciously, but like it's just a little bit of feedback that makes a lot of difference. Never played Halo growing up, so when I finally got around to trying it in college, and the first enemies I faced were these little goblins with funny voices, I thought I was being trolled. Yeah, I think, I mean, you have to imagine, like, Halo 1, this was basically made by, it was like a single floor game studio with everyone just open air. They got their own little cubicles. There's like 10 dudes working on it. and really there's like 5 important guys. And they were all just nerds. They were all just fucking huge fucking nerds who really liked FPS games. They liked FPS games and Myst, and they made Halo. It was originally going to be a like a third-person, like tactical, almost like an RTS kind of thing. It was totally different initially, which is why the AI was so important. And then they just kept on changing it in development. They invented all this stuff. They invented the dual stick shooter idea. I think they invented auto aim, or aim assist. There's so many things were invented in this. And again, like 2001, this looks amazing for 2001. Yeah, so there you can see again, I killed the elite, and the grunt, instead of firing at me, just started running around. But the jackals don't do that. The jackals are more persistent. Advice about Ultra Kill: do not play it like old Doom. It's more like Devil May Cry in a shooter form. That sounds awesome. Devil May Cry, I only played it for the first time like maybe 2 years ago, or maybe less, and it just jumped up instantly to like one of my top 10 games. I mean, incredible game. Absolutely love it. And I do want to go through the whole series, but I kind of want to go deep into the first game and like beat it on all the difficulties and really 100% it at some point. Maybe that's my next thing. Take a break from Elden Ring. That might be fun. It's very charming. That's something I noticed about games now that I play older games more. There's no self-importance compared to games that come out today. Yeah. You know, I mean, this is something I've been thinking about, like, we're in a weird era right now where everything is about, it's about commentary and self-commentary. You know, that's why everything is sequels and reboots and remakes and stuff, because, like, nobody's actually creating new ideas. They're just sort of commenting on things that already exist. And there's a lot of, like, insecurity and ego tied up with that. And that's why you also get all this, like, meta humor, self-referential stuff. And really what it means is that, like, the most valuable quality is authenticity. Like, just people being genuine and real. And it's all the games that do really well and get this, like, fanatic base they're authentic. Like Hellraisers, that felt like a really authentic game. That's the sort of game that, you know, obviously graphically wouldn't have been made 20 years ago, but in terms of tone, absolutely. Vampire Survivors, that did super well. It's just like classic fun game. Even Pal World, like, Pal World is fucking awful in so many respects. Like, try playing it on I tried playing it on Xbox Game Pass, and it's got like 4 FPS. It's ridiculous. But it's sort of unabashed in its just trying to make a game that people like. There's no, like, I don't know, it's just this whole, like, Forspoken wave of things where, like, everything is self-referential and cringy and edgy and millennially and all that crap. It's so cringe. And people don't like that, and it doesn't work. Like, you can sell a little bit that way, but in the long run, it's not a strategy. You just played Final Fantasy VII OG, and it's just so charming and soulful. Yeah, I do like the old Final Fantasy. I could never really get into 7, honestly. The mix of art styles really turns me off. I hate when games do that. When you mix in different types of art. It's one of the reasons that, even though I really liked Celeste, I really hated that quality where they would mix art styles. In Final Fantasy VII, I don't like that.
The weather patterns are natural, not artificial. I wonder if the ring's environment systems are malfunctioning.
You hate Vampire Survivors? Vampire Survivors is an incredible game. I don't care what anybody says. It is obviously just borderline. It is just above the borderline of horrible predatory. What the heck? Oh, god damn it. Yeah, it is definitely right on the border of being a horrible predatory game, but it doesn't do any of those predatory things. It is not a cookie clicker, but it is almost a cookie clicker, and it's an incredible game. I think it's done really well. Oh, didn't get that. It's not timeless, it's dating the games and the people making them. Oh, that's in response to this sort of self-referential humor? Yeah, that's also a big part of it, is it definitely ages a lot worse. I mean, for me, it's really simple, actually. It's just whenever I see that kind of stuff, I instantly see the person who wrote that, and I hate them and I want to punch them in the face. So it makes me not want to play the game, because I can just instantly envision the person who made it. It isn't really any more sophisticated than that. I forgot all these friends pop out here. Actually been a while since I've played Assault in the Control Room. Is there a grenade? Alright, I guess we're going noob combo now. I gotta focus here a little bit. Okay. Okay. Oh god. God damn it. Need more ammo. Okay. Alright, let me read some comments. The genre it spawned is probably the main annoying part. Oh, for Vampire Survivors? I don't know, I haven't played any other auto shooters. I thought Vampire Survivors, it looked like it was gonna be horrible, and it ended up being a fantastic game, I think. By the way, Crunchy, if you do get into DMC1, the camera can sometimes be your worst enemy. Yeah, definitely the, that camera style is a little bit tricky to get familiar with if you've never played a game like that. But it's really not that bad. It actually, I think, has a bunch of advantages, because camera controls can be one of the most anti-immersive things in a game. Because it is literally, I mean, if you think about what you're doing with a camera, like in a 3D game, you are rotating the world around a central point. And you're doing that, you're controlling rotation with a two-dimensional axis. Which is already, like, that's actually kind of a complicated, like, geometric problem to figure out. The idea that your two axes are controlling a 3D rotation. And then also the idea that you're actually, like, you're controlling this non-diegetic thing, right? It's not like controlling the character and what the character can do. Because that is something that when you lessen the distance between you and the character, that gets you more immersed. So when you move and when you do stuff as the character, you're like, okay, yeah, he's me. But when you control the camera, you're controlling the game. You're not controlling the character, and so that can often be like a big immersion breaking thing. And there's not really a good solution for any 3D game with camera. So just leaving the camera out of it, I think it solves a lot of problems. Like, it allows you to focus on other things and just focus on being the character that you are. Of course, it has some downsides, but, like, yeah. It's got a lot of pros. Game makes me think about person and not the game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hate... It's the same with movies as well and TV shows. Like, if I suddenly start to think about it's a sort of an immersion thing, like I was just saying. Like, if I start to think about the person who created it, I'm not interested anymore. Like, I don't care about the person. You know, I don't want to care about the person. I just want to be involved in the story, you know, or the gameplay or whatever it might be. But, like, if I can instantly see the person in my mind, then I'm not into it. Crunchy, since you said you were playing some Zelda games, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Echoes of Wisdom? Is that the Zelda game? That looked amazing, and it looks like it's a game made exactly for me. I honestly think, like, that idea of, like, replicating objects and creating them, I'm so into it. I can't wait for that to come out. Colors are so good in this area. It's ostensibly an area that's concrete-y, yet there's so much color. I absolutely love the Forerunner aesthetic. In Halo 1 especially, okay, thank you. Yeah, I love the Forerunner aesthetic. I think it looks amazing. And part of the idea with the aesthetic is, like, it is meant to be concrete-y, because this is humanity, right? This is something that the 343 games completely screwed up, but, like, the idea is that the Forerunners are humans. They are the Forerunners, the humans that came before us. And you are the reclaimer because you're reclaiming their civilization. So it is meant to be, like, concrete-y, and then when you see Halo 1, you don't see that too clearly, but then Halo 2, it makes it really, really clear, because all the human cities are, like, super brutalist and concrete-y, and it's like halfway in between modern architecture and Forerunner architecture. You can see it as, like, the stepping stone. Like, they're getting back to what the Forerunner architecture was. But I love that it doesn't go... Like, I love that they have two really clear aesthetics for the... Oh no. Oh god. I'm gonna die. They have two really clear aesthetics for the aliens. Like, there's the Covenant... God damn it. There's the Covenant aesthetic, which is like the you know, blue, purple, green, like classic Alien kind of stuff, versus the Forerunner aesthetic, which is like this very clean, you know, metallic, concrete, glass, like brutalist kind of stuff. And like this is just all the little detail here. It's really nice. These weird little lights, and it's like, it's not quite Apple Store, it's a little bit more, I don't know, there's more going on than the Apple Store aesthetic, but it is more Apple Store than like the Covenant, which is more like classic Aliens, Independence Day kind of thing. And also just the whole idea of the Covenant, I absolutely love it, because it clearly came from a gameplay thing, where they thought like, okay, we need several different types of enemies, and we need them to be really clearly distinguishable from each other, and to have different behaviors, right? And so, okay, how do we explain that narratively? Well, we're gonna make the bad guys are gonna be this collection of different alien races. God damn, I'm gonna die again. God damn it. Really chapping my ass here. Stop, stop, stop. This is so annoying. I just gotta kill this guy and then I'll continue to talk. Yeah, but I love the idea that, like, you start with this gameplay concept, which I think clearly must have been how it went down. Like, they started with the gameplay concept of, we need different enemy types, and they need to be really clearly different with different behaviors and different looks. And they're serving different roles. Like, you know, the grunts, they're literally called grunts, right? They're just cannon fodder for you to enjoy shooting up, enjoy headshots. Then you have the jackals, who are a little creepier and kind of making, you know, they're just playing the support role. And the elites, which are like the player, mirroring the player. They have all the abilities of the player, they fight like the player, they've got a shield like the player. And so to come up with a narrative idea where, like, this is a conglomeration of different alien races, they're sort of parasitic, they don't really make anything of themselves, but it's like they're organized together as different races. And why are they organized together? Because they're all part of the same religion. And that's such a neat idea for a game. I love that. Anyway. The problem with DMC1 is that it's a camera based around a Resident Evil game, and while it's not horrible at all, it doesn't always account for enemies off screen and Dante moving position a lot. Oh yeah, there are definitely problems with it. Like, there are definitely problems with it. It's not ideal. I don't like the tendency of a lot of newer games to really pull in the camera. Well, you know, a big reason for that is because it just can't handle the game. So, like, something like God of War, the new God of War, like, the reason the camera is so close all the time is because they just can't load in everything and have it running smoothly. Especially because they're trying to do this, like, what do you call it, unbroken, one-shot kind of thing. Come on. Bro, why did I miss? For some reason the Scorpion Halo 1 is kind of weird. Oh, I'm gonna die again. God damn it. Why does that miss? I don't get it. Alright. Do a little Scorpion sniping. Alright. too inaccurate. I don't like the randomness in it. That should have done it. Did it hit? No. Yes, it did. He's still alive. What kind of music are you into? Well, my background is in classical music. That's actually my main job. That's what I do for a living. That's what I was doing for the last month and a half, which kept me away from Elden Ring. So there's a lot of classical. Most of my favorite music is classical music. It's mostly what I listen to. Of various genres within that. Crunchy, did you see they released a new 5-minute video about Echoes of Wisdom today? They've got these spells that let you tie the movement of object to Zelda's movement and vice versa. Very cool. Really? Hold on. All right, we're gonna take a little detour here, and we're gonna check this out. I want to see that. Echoes of Wisdom. Oh, damn. Okay, hold on. How do I put this up? Let's go. Browser. Hello. Why is this being weird like this? Is that kind of on screen? Does that look normal? Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's see.
Welcome to Hyrule, a vast land where Princess Zelda will journey through her grand adventure. Hyrule is a land of plentiful abundance. From the central plateau, where Hyrule Castle stands enfolded by its castle town, to the outermost reaches.
I would say I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic that they chose for this in the Link's Awakening remake. I don't think it's ugly, but it's a little.
As far as the eye can see,
I don't like this sort of plasticky.
That's no problem for the women of the Gerudo tribe, though. There are many ruins full of mysteries here, and an oasis, a great place to relax.
This just seems like my favorite idea.
Hyrule Waters is home to some of Hyrule's most scenic waterways.
Creating objects and controlling them.
Zora and the River Zora
in an adventure game.
Who each reside in their respective villages. Though they don't always get along. What could they be fighting about? Daunting cliffs and lava flows.
Yeah, it's a little bit mobile gamey. Yeah, that's the reason I don't like it.
Kakariko Village
it's a little bit sort of cheap and kitsch looking, you know.
Trails to reach the home of the Gorons.
Like Link's Awakening is one of my favorite games of all time. So when they remade that, I was very I think it's an amazing remake. It's probably the best remake out there of any game that's been remade, but I was a little bit put off by like going from that beautiful pixel art to this kind of plasticky looking thing.
During your travels, you're likely to encounter people dealing with problems great and small. Keep track of quests by browsing your adventure log whenever you'd like. Helping people with their troubles is a big part of your journey, and wise heroes are often rewarded for their good deeds.
This seems like a total cozy game. I hope that there's enough. I hope that
Objects known as waypoints are scattered throughout the land.
What am I trying to say? I hope that there's enough
quickly by selecting it on your map.
freedom to kind of experiment with these things, and it's not too tightly controlled. I hope that it just allows you to kind of mess around with the mechanics.
Fast travel, getting around Hyrule can prove challenging. At times like these, Why walk when you can ride? Gallop
I
right
love
over
this.
weaker enemies to send them
Oh my
flying,
god.
and hop
I
over
want
small
to play this game.
obstacles with ease.
This is amazing.
Once you learn to make a carrot echo, you'll be able to call upon your trusty steed from anywhere in the overworld.
I love it. There is something, even though I'm not crazy
As
about the
you
aesthetics, I
explore,
do think
you
there is
may come
something where
across smoothie
they kind of
shops
look like little
and buy
toys.
business scrubs.
So
Here
it does
you
kind
blend
of,
the ingredients
I kind of get what they're
into
going for.
delicious drinks. Smoothies have different effects.
You know, there is
based
something
on the
cute about it.
ingredients you choose.
It's just,
They're sure to
it's a
come in
little
handy
bit
during your
too
travels.
shiny and too plasticky for me.
You can also equip outfits and accessories to enhance your abilities. And to look fashionable, obviously.
Fashion Zelda, absolutely.
Whether you're trekking over rugged plateaus, through winding caves, or other complex locales, creating echoes is key to success. But sometimes
I
it may
love
not
that.
be
It's
enough.
just the greatest
A huge
idea.
boulder like this cannot be learned as an echo, and your other echoes won't move it either. For obstacles like these, Try
I
has
love
got
it
you
when
covered
I can
with the
tell that a
power
game was
of
made
Bind.
because someone had a gameplay idea.
Use it to make even
Like,
a
clearly there's no
massive
reason for this
boulder
game to exist
follow
except that
Zelda's
someone
movement.
had this idea of, like,
Bind
what if
can
you
help
could just,
unearth buried treasure,
like,
or
replicate
even
bits of
reposition
the world.
troublesome enemies. You can also use Bind on your echoes. So get creative and find ways to forge ahead. Alternatively, if you want to follow a moving object yourself, you can use Reverse Bond to go where it goes.
Great,
Take
incredible
advantage of a
abilities.
creature's ability to fly, or to move around quickly. Swapping between Bind and Reverse Bond is a great way to find clever paths forward.
That's awesome.
Let your imagination run wild, and you're bound to come up with all sorts of ideas. Use Bind in combination with your echoes to overcome obstacles. Understanding how these two abilities work together will be essential to your progress. Mysterious rifts are overtaking Hyrule. What else will Zelda have to contend with in her grand adventure to save her kingdom?
I mean, probably the most disappointing
There's
thing
only
is
one way to
the
find
story
out.
is going to be, like, pretty lame.
The Legend
that's
of
fine.
Zelda
I don't really care
Echoes
about it
of
that much.
Wisdom. Available September 26th only on the Nintendo
It's like making your own
Switch
Pokemon
system.
HMs? Yeah.
Pre-orders are available now
I
on
think
Nintendo
the
eShop.
environmental interaction is like one of the most fun things that there is. It's the reason that Minecraft is popular. It's the reason that, like, even something like Crysis, when Crysis had like a brief period of being kind of popular, it was because of, it didn't do anything revolutionary. It was just because because you could, like, you know, destroy the trees and they would break apart in different ways. I think that's great. I think more people need to lean into the environmental interaction stuff. I think that was actually what Breath of the Wild will be remembered for, is like the chemistry system, the physics system, because that's the sort of stuff. You know, I've been trying to figure out how to talk about this idea, but I have this idea for like a mathematical equation in my head where it's like interactions per square meter in a game. So you have games like there's a lot of like open world games out there, right? And when you look at like the character size in relation to the map, you might think like, oh, these two worlds, World A and World B from these two different games, Game A, Game B, like they might both look the same size. But in Game A, you can do like 50 things in every square meter, whereas in Game B, you can only do like 2 things. And what that makes it feel like, Game A feels way bigger. It feels like a much bigger world. because you gauge it by how many things you can do. You can create an enormous world with nothing to do in it, and it will feel small because there's nothing to do. So it's this interaction. The ability to interact, I think, is the key thing. So I feel like this Zelda game, is actually going to feel like a really significant game, just because of the amount of things that you can do in it, even though it might not be that big. The story will be peak if Zelda saves Link, and then he's the one thing that you can't copy because there's only one Link. Yeah, they'll probably do something sort of cute and charming, but also a little bit too vague and not very powerful. This is one of the great things about Link's Awakening, which I still think is the best Zelda game I've ever played, although I haven't played a lot of them. One of the great things about that is it has all the quirky stuff, it has all the cute stuff, it's got the little girlfriend that follows you around, and silliness and stuff like this, but it also is like, there's kind of almost a horror element to it, where it's like this whole world is a dream and of like this like Lovecraftian creature essentially, and everything's gonna disappear. All the people that you thought you knew who are real people, like, they're not real people. They're all gonna disappear. And actually that your goal is to make them disappear. Your goal is to destroy this world, essentially. Like, it's kind of a horrible thing when you think about it. But I love that about Link's Awakening. It is kind of a horror game, or it turns into a game with like slightly existential horror overtones to it. And the problem with a lot of the new Nintendo games is that, like, everything is really sanitized. All the Mario games, all the Pokemon games, everything's super sanitized, and like, the thing is that actually, if you're making games for kids, kids like non-sanitized things. Kids are dirty, you know? Kids don't put on hand sanitizer. They're nasty. They like things that are dirty and violent and rough and dark. You know, you don't have to keep it clean for them. It's just that I think this is a mistake in all forms of media. It's to like, oh, you're making something for kids, you got to keep it clean. Like, no, it's the exact opposite. Adults like clean things. Kids like dirty things. I just remembered, Crunchy, is there another 2-hour-long symphony by Mahler out there for me to listen to? Mahler has 9 full symphonies, also a 10 which was completed, but it wasn't completed by him, and also a song cycle called Das Lied von der Erde. I would recommend, I think did I recommend the Second Symphony? Second Symphony is fantastic. I would also recommend the 6th. That's on the shorter side. The longest one is 3. I think that's like an hour 45, depending on the recording. It's great though. And if you listen to 3, just as like a way into it, you can look up the original titles for each of the movements, because there's sort of a narrative that goes along with it. It is kind of like a story, in a very loose sense. Empty Giant World, Forspoken, cough cough. Oh, it was Forspoken, totally empty? I never played it. I watched a little bit of it, but I mean, it didn't look like something worth playing. What about Shadow of the Colossus? Would that be the exception that proved the rule? I mean, but Shadow of the Colossus, it's not trying to be a big world. It's doing something different. But I wouldn't say that Shadow of the Colossus feels like a big game or a long game or anything. Like, it's a very meditative game, but you know, it's not like, I don't know, it's just going for something different. That's why I've always liked Metroid. Oh, just because of the amount of interactions. Yeah, I really need to... I need to familiarize myself with the Metroid games. Because I started playing Super Metroid, never finished. I do want to get back to that. Never played Metroid Prime. I played a little bit of the Game Boy Advance one, where you're like... You've got the blue suit. But, yeah, I've never really gotten into those games, but I do... Not for any reason, I mean, I just didn't get into it. Gotta keep things sanitized for the kids, Funko Pop collectors in their 30s that have no job other than scrolling Twitter and watching 12-hour video essays about games. Yeah, accurate. Facts. Bro, stop. God damn it. Should probably just go down foot at this point. Once I take out the Wraith, I'll get out on foot. Forspoken wasn't worth it, believe me. I mean, I do believe you. I do believe that. Come on! Why does it always miss? This tank sucks. More because Metroid is not nearly as sanitized as other Nintendo IPs. I love the exploration and vibe. Yeah, that's fair. I remember so I haven't... God damn it. This is so annoying. I did that again, even though it didn't do anything last time. I played the hell out of the first 2 generations of Pokemon. Like, those red, blue, yellow, less so yellow, but like red, blue version and gold version, I have those games absolutely memorized. Like, I can probably tell you what every trainer has and what level their Pokemon are. I was obsessed with those games when I was a kid. And then I played the 3rd gen and I was like, I don't know about this. And then I didn't play any Pokemon game after that. And then I decided on a whim to get the, like, there was like that thing for Switch where it was like Eevee or something. I downloaded it, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna see what Pokemon is like right now. Oh my god, it was just the most horrendous thing ever. There was like 20 minutes of condescending tutorials. And it was just so, like, babyish and sanitized and horrible. I couldn't believe it. And I haven't tried playing any other... I mean, I know that was, like, a different game. It's not, like, not the mainline Pokemon games, but, like... I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how bad that was. But it's like, this is all these games. This is why the FromSoft games popped off. Is just... I mean, for lots of reasons, but one of the big reasons was... this lack of hand-holding and like not talking down to your audience and like I don't know in you know, when I was a young kid, like nobody complained if like something was not well explained in the game. You know, nobody gave a shit. Like, that was part of playing the game, is you figuring it out. So this idea that, like, oh, we have to make sure that nobody could possibly have a bad experience in our game, it's so lame, it's so insecure, and it's also only because these people are really trying to please casual gamers, which, again, kind of goes back to my point, like, you need to please the core fan base, always. You need to please the people who are going to be the most intense, not the people who are going to be the least intense about it. The people who are there for the wrong reasons, or who don't care about it that much, like, don't think about them, don't worry about what they have to say, don't listen to them. In any kind of creative discipline. you doing? Get on the goddamn tank.
Let's roll. Whoa.
How did that miss? I don't understand it.
Take that.
Okay. What? How are you still alive, bro?
Are you on your side? Oh man.
Okay. Whatever. I need to get out on foot now. Pokemon is crazy for me because I played Diamond more than like any other game I'd ever played up until that point period, and no other Pokemon games after because I hated the new starters. I think honestly, Pokemon, there's a very particular aesthetic to the first 2 generations. Specifically, like, the first generation is kind of weird because, excuse me, the aesthetic is much more, they're much more like monsters, you know, it's not as cartoony. And then second generation, it becomes like, that's what I think of as the Pokemon aesthetic. That's like the aesthetic of the original, you know, animated series. God damn it, I can't shoot. I can't shoot and think and talk all at the same time. It's too much. But that Gen 2 aesthetic is, I think, wonderful. And then more and more they just kind of moved away from that. I don't think it's as good. I stopped enjoying Pokemon after Black 2, tried Aloha Sapphire, but it was just meh. My friend got me Scarlet for the Switch and haven't even beaten the first gym. I also just prefer like 16-bit art style to any other kind of art style. Are you kidding me? How did that not kill you? Oh my god, stop, bro. It's more important to inspire a small amount of devotees. Yeah, absolutely. Did you ever play the Gen 2 remakes Heart Gold or Soul Silver, Crunchy? No, I couldn't. I mean, I'm way too caught up in that. Like, I would just be annoyed the entire time. I just wouldn't enjoy it. It wouldn't be worth it for me. I think the last Pokemon game I played was Emerald. Whoops, meant Alpha Sapphire, don't know why I said Aloha. Oh, yeah. I never played the... What does that say? Hawk? Pokemon games? It's this annoying sticker thing in the way of the chat, so I can never see exactly what the last person says. I think that the Ruby Sapphire Emerald wasn't terrible, but it was gold version, like Gen 2, is just ideal. It's the perfect. It's one of the greatest idea for a sequel, which is basically that you just have the entire original game in it, or close to it. Oh, Hawaii. Oh, I see. Yeah. I feel like there's only a couple great ways to do sequels. One of them is to go in a completely different direction. That is really hard to pull off, like to totally change things up. But that can sometimes work. Going in a completely different direction. The boring thing to do is to just make the same game again. That's what a lot of them do. But there's two examples of great remakes, or sorry, not remakes, but great sequels. One is Jak 2. I think Jak 2 is an incredible sequel, and not just like because it's a good game, but also because of just what it did as a sequel, like going from this open world Mario clone, where you're like just it's a happy little children's game where you're jumping around and punching guys. Going from that to like edgy Dark Lord shoot 'em up with flying cars and a hoverboard with tricks that you can do on the hoverboard. Just the greatest idea ever. So I love sequels that do something like that, where you just go in you just blow everything up and go in a ridiculous direction. But the other great way to do a sequel is just to expand and revisit. So like the gold version is like one of my ideal ways to do a sequel, where it's an expansion upon the original. You get all the new variety, basically the same type of game, but you also have the original game within it. Like, I don't know, I think that's just an incredible idea. Best reuse of assets ever? Yeah, exactly. Dead Space 2? I never finished Dead Space, and I haven't played the sequel, so I don't know. Literally has the original game in it as a level. Oh wow, okay, that's cool. So they did that as well. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Dead Space is Kino. I do like the diegetic health bar and things like that. I like when games do interesting things like that. Yeah, I should go back and play Dead Space, actually. That's got to be on my list. How do you not get affected by that explosion at all? Yes, okay. Got these damn needlers. The needler is also, what a creative weapon to invent. Such a weird idea, but great. Dragon Quest II probably fits that as well. The whole map of the first game is an island in the northwest of the map. Though I'm not the biggest fan of DQ2 for other reasons. I actually meant to ask you, Tazo, what if I want to get into the Dragon Quest series? Like, what is the ideal game to begin with? Like, especially if I want to start with the early ones, is it good to start with the first one, or does it, do they all hold up pretty well, or like? I imagine there's some ups and downs, What Kino means? Kino is just like, it's tits. It's the greatest. It's the creme de la creme. Dead Space 2 for sure. First time going back to the Ishimura was one of the scariest things ever. If you want to play Dead Space 1, play the original. The remake messed with the monster design. Yeah, I started playing the original. I started playing the original because the remake came out. Now, to me, it's like a sign. If someone makes a remake, then that tells me that the original is pretty good. And it also tells me that probably the original is better than the remake. So, every time I see a remake, I'm like, oh, I should play the original game. They ruined Dead Space 3 with a bunch of incomprehensible decisions. 5, 8, and 11. Okay. 5, 8, and 11. So is it not worth it to go earlier? When was 5 made? What sort of, like, art style is that? Because I've been kind of in the mood for, like, another old, like, 16-bit or 32-bit 2D kind of game. 11 has a lot of callbacks to the original trilogy, but you don't need to know them to enjoy the game. Fair enough. The only ones that are connected story-wise are 1 through 3, so there isn't much of a reason to worry about the story for the other ones. Okay. Thief 2 was good? Yeah, you know, I've never really been into, oh, how did I miss that? Oh, I missed it again. I've never really been into, like, stealth games. It's not my style. I don't know why. I feel like there hasn't been a stealth game that keeps it, like, interesting. There's too much waiting around and like, not doing anything. At least the ones I've played. Diablo 2? That's good. Also never done the Diablo games. Thief 1 through 3 still in my favorite 10 games? Okay. Alright, get these guys. Dead Space 3 was actually my favorite. Played it offline, and you ignore all the EA junk they added. I heard some co-op only missions were good, but whatever. John Carpenter's The Thing. I didn't quite understand that last. What's the bit about The Thing? I do like that movie. I think that's a great movie. That's Marty O'Donnell singing in the background there. Halo was so goofy, I miss it. Yeah. The pistol is so overpowered in this game. So ridiculous. if you like the thing, you can like Dead Space 3. Okay. Dead Space 3 was too action-oriented for my tastes. Yeah, the little that I played of Dead Space 1, I couldn't really figure out, like, what the core gameplay loop was. Whether it was trying to be, like... Whether it was about the action, the progression, the story, like, the atmosphere. It's kind of a... It seemed like kind of a jack-of-all-trades sort of game. I wasn't really sure what to make of it. How do I always miss the headshots for the jackals? Okay.
Resistance
Running
appears
out
to
of
be
ammo
increasing.
now.
We must be close to the control center.
I think after this level I gotta stop because I'm getting a little tired.
This must be the control room.
Oh, let's see. Can I do it? Can I do it? Stay up. Stay. Oh, god damn it. This is gonna be tricky. Alright, I do want that Banshee, though.
Analyzing. This must be the control room. Subtle. The entrance to the control center is at the top of that pyramid structure. Bring me up there and I should be able to get us inside.
Yes? Stay alive, stay alive. Banshee's up. Nice. Crap. I need weapons. This is no good. Alright, forgot you can... No, come on, you asshole. System Shock 2 was better, in my opinion, than System Shock 1.
Analyzing. This must be the control room.
I just remembered if you can handle some weird character sprites, there are somewhat modern mobile ports of DQ 1 to 3 on Switch.
Able to get us inside.
Damn it, did I knock it off? I gotta do this again. Some weird character sprites? So, but are they ports? I don't get it.
Analyzing.
Come on. God damn it. Are they ports? Because if they're ports, then shouldn't the character sprites be the original? Or are you saying that like the original sprites are weird?
Analyzing. This must be the control room.
Nice. I like that.
The entrance to the control center is at the top of that pyramid structure. Bring me up there and I should be able to get us inside.
Okay. Alright. Here we go. Let's go! Yeah. Halo managed both goofy and serious at the same time. Games today are too afraid to do both. Yeah, true. Well, I feel like there aren't really any goofy games anymore. Oh god, I forgot about this whole thing. I'm gonna die. Goofy is not really an aesthetic anymore. People don't do goofy. People do, humorous, but it's a very particular type of humor, you know? They don't really like goofy. Just got a grenade spam. Until we get a weapon. Where's a weapon? Hello? There we go. Better weapon out here? God damn. Indie games can be goofy? I haven't really seen a goofy game. I've seen, like, maudlin humor. I've seen like sort of cringy, hipster, cutesy humor. I haven't really seen goofy, just like pure silliness, you know? God damn it, I'm gonna die again. God damn it, I'm gonna die again. Oh god, I'm gonna die again. Let's see, okay. Stop dodging my grenades, stop dodging my grenades, and stop shooting with needles. Stop dodging my grenades! There we go. Okay, hold on. Let's see. No! God damn it! I'm gonna see if this ammo is still here already. Gonna play Clive Barker Undying. Have a nice day, everybody. Why, you have a nice day. Where them Shadow the Erdtree lore videos at? They will wait until I have something worth saying. Which I don't at the moment. Can I also have, like, some weapons, please? Oh, no. Where's a weapon? Where's a weapon? Where's a weapon? Okay, there we go. Okay. There are ports of the mobile versions of DQ 1 through 3, but for some reason both versions use the SNES graphics for the world, but not characters and monsters. That's really weird. Damn. It's one down. Other one's still there. Alright. Let's see. First time I piloted a Banshee, I was so hyped. Yeah. Indie games. Alright, I read that. The characters and monsters use modernized sprites. So there's some mismatch between the overworld and the characters in it. Yeah, that doesn't sound great. Because I don't like it when things aren't consistent. Cohesive art style is like one of the... That is a important thing for me. No game has made me laugh as much as Sekiro, in terms of recently. That seems odd. I don't remember Sekiro being super funny.
This is it. Halo's control center.
Weapon designs are so god in Halo. The alien gun looks like it's live. Yeah. And I think they're great in Halo 1, but Halo 2 and then Halo 3, they really... like Halo 3, everything has this like crustacean look. You know, all the wraiths and the phantoms and stuff, they all look like sort of beetles and crabs and stingrays and things like this. Like they're all sort of these you know, weird exoskeleton
Never
creatures.
been better. You can't imagine the wealth of information.
Damn, Cortana was
Knowledge,
pretty
so
messed
much,
up
so fast.
Halo 1 though.
It's glorious.
She definitely improved.
So, what sort of weapon is it?
What are you talking about?
Let's stay focused. Halo,
Let's stay
how do we
focused.
use it against the Covenant?
This
Sekiro
really
definitely had
isn't
silly
much of a
moments, but I don't
tutorial,
know
it's
if they're
something
laugh out
else.
loud worthy.
Something much more important.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of silliness in
This
Sekiro. It was
ring.
pretty serious.
It's Forerunner. Give me a second to access. Yes, the Forerunner built this place, what they called a fortress world, in order to... Wait.
Played
No,
Thief
that's
1
not
last year, and man, compared to the way most
Oh,
modern
those
games had
Covenant
used
fools,
stealth,
they must
that
have
game
known
had
there must have been
balls, especially
signs.
with how it used its sound
Slow
design.
down. You're losing me.
The
Do you have
Covenant
a example of that? Because
buried
that sounds
in its ruins
intriguing.
Something horrible, and now they're afraid.
FromSoft games always have a little goof in them.
The
Where?
captain.
Oh,
We gotta
yeah.
Stop the captain.
Like,
The weapons
you
cache
know,
he's looking for. It's
random
not really-
ladies
we can't
running
let him
around
get
with
inside.
giant butchering
I
knives.
don't
There's
understand.
definitely a
Get out
jokey
of here,
element
find
to it, but
keys,
it's
stop
very
them before it's too
uh,
late.
it's very sort of dry and undertoned. It doesn't hit you over the head with it. This is a great level, but I think I'm going to stop here because that's about halfway, I think. So I'll probably do the next half in another stream. Cortana really got to glow up in later games, yeah, for sure.
The last transmission from the captain's dropship was from this area. That was over 12 hours ago.
Okay, I think I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go eat something, do something else for a while. I will probably do like a more Elden Ring related stream. Probably not this week, but maybe next week. Still got some work to do. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys. I'm gonna head out. Cheers.